Hey everybody, what's up? Here in the garage, the two athletes I coach today, Huang and Mason Cervantes. They're both getting ready for the Reebok Record Breakers meet. So Andy will be boring today and just on a deload, but Mason's going to be going up for a PR double in reps. So how many weeks out? 5 weeks out. Yeah, 5 weeks out right now. So should be some good stuff, and we'll talk about how to implement reps in your training, how often maybe you need to be in them, and how to utilize them throughout the course of a workout. So hopefully you learn some valuable stuff and see Mason hit a big squat today.
All right, Mason Cervantes, getting ready for Reebok Record Breakers. This will be my first really big meet at 275. As you can tell, I'm not as heavy as Andy, but I'm using the belly to get some extra pounds on the bar. So yeah, looking forward to it. Some eights, get some eights in there like big brother Andy over here.
What's up guys, Andy Huang here, getting ready for Reebok Record Breakers in 5 weeks. I compete in the 275-pound raw class, and I'm going after some world records, and hopefully I can put it all together on the meet day. Everything's and training's been going well, relatively injury free, so really looking forward to what I can do on that day.
So with Andy on his deload training today and this whole week during the deload, general guidelines that we look for during a deload week is 60 to 75% of regular volume. So basically the volume he did last week during his overreaching week for his strength block, at about 80 to 90% of regular intensity. And of course both of those could be modulated up or down depending on how the athlete feels. Usually early in a deload week, you should have an athlete who's feeling very, very run down. And Andy could attest to this, that at the beginning of the deload week, a weight that would normally feel very light, 500 pounds for Andy, is a weight that felt a lot heavier than expected. But that's all a part of the process. That's a part of fatigue accumulating and functional overreaching at the end of the overloading cycle. And then as the deload week progresses, today we're on Saturday, and Andy will start training back hard on Monday. So today we should really be trending up, feeling a lot better, and starting to get hungry for those heavy weights again. So something we're looking at for both the guys technique-wise, both Mason and Andy squat high bar in competition. Maybe not completely 100% on top of the traps like a weightlifter might, but definitely relative to powerlifting, a high bar squat. So what we really want to emphasize is where they're feeling the pressure in their foot. It becomes problematic for low bar or high bar squatters, but it may be more evident for a high bar squatter that they're going to hit the hole, and if the weight shifts back in the foot, it's going to cause the knees to shift back and the hips to rise early. So we want to keep pressure in the front of the foot, particularly you'll hear me cueing, push your big toe down, to keep pressure in the front of the foot, to keep their knees forward longer to allow them to more effectively use their quads for the first few inches out of the hole, and then the knees can naturally shift back after that as the weight transfers more to the hamstrings, hips, and low back. We want to use the quad as much as possible out of the hole because it's the muscle best suited to work at those joint angles. Look how much quads he's got. He's got a lot of quads. He's got all the quads.
How big are your quads, Andy?
Probably around 30, 31 inches right now. They've been as big as 34, my heaviest. Maybe a little more cushion on there, but they're usually around 30, 31 inches. So it's kind of hard to find jeans and pants, so I just don't wear them.
What about you, Mason?
Not that. Maybe 28 on a good day. So in the last about year, transferring from 242 to 275, maintaining a higher body weight and just getting thicker overall. It's pushed a lot of, I'd say, pressure into my arms and stuff. I used to be about a finger in here and completely thumbless like this. And just when I started getting into reps, handling more weight and just being heavier, I was getting a lot of pressure into my bicep. So it was something that was becoming problematic with my bench, my squat. It's pushing a lot of just chronic pain. So I had asked for some help on social media, and one of the big guys, who was JP, he had mentioned that he does a pinky under, and I figured a big guy like that who can low bar I probably should take his advice. So initially it was weird spanning my fingers out, but having my thumb here, my pinky under the bar, and kind of twisting my hand, I was able to take a lot of pressure off of this bicep primarily and my elbow. So I just found it took me about 2 to 3 weeks to find a comfortable position, but where I was able to engage, I felt more back muscle to hold the bar, you know, in a better position and overall more solid. So yeah.
Knee wrapping is the worst job, wrapping the knees. That's why knee wraps should be banished, just so I don't have to ever wrap them. So a couple of different schools of thoughts about, you know, how often you need to wear your wraps or when you should start training them. The less experience you are in wraps, certainly the more frequently you're going to want to wear them, and the farther out from competition you'd want to wear them so you can make a smoother transition for your first time competing in them. Granted, I'm saying that when I did my first meet, it was in wraps. I'd only worn knee wraps 2 times, and then I got to the meet and I was wrapping myself. I have no idea what to do really, and because there wasn't a lot of YouTube videos on it at that point, or I'd never even been to a powerlifting meet. I'm wrapping my knees, and this guy comes over. He's like, "Hey, you want some help with that?" And I was like, "Sure." He's like, "Do you have a preferred way to wrap them?" And I said, "Whatever's going to make me squat, whichever way is going to make me squat the most." So from that point on, I wore wraps a lot. Maybe every training session, every heavy squat session. So I'd be in them 12 times before the meet. But if you've worn knee wraps, you know they're a pain in the ass, especially if you train by yourself or you don't have, you know, a knee wrap lackey to take care of you. It's really a pain in the ass. But if you want to be good in the wraps and you want to maximize the weight that you get out of them, you need to wear them frequently. I'd say, you know, probably a minimum of 4 times before a meet, up to maybe, you know, 8 times. Certainly, it all has to be managed. Whether it's, you know, because you put the knee wraps on, it's going to be more weight. That's more neural stress. That's more you know, stress on your back and your joints. So you just kind of got to create that good balance of enough time in the wraps to know how they feel and be confident in your technique, but not so much time in them that you're overreaching your nervous system too early. And that's going to change a little bit for everyone in their rep situations. What I do for myself, what I do for a lot of the guys like Mason who write the program for, is every other week or maybe every 3rd workout in a tight wrap, and you go to heavy weight. And then beyond that, once you kind of know your wraps technique and you feel comfortable enough in them, as comfortable as you can feel in something that's very uncomfortable, then really the only way to push your squat up is to push your squat up without wraps and make your legs stronger, and then put the wrap, you know, once you know, all right, I get 70 pounds of carryover in my knee wraps, then you put the wraps on, you get 70 pounds on top of what now should be a stronger squat without wraps. Bigger, tight. bit, you hit the hole, the reps are trying to straighten their legs, and this happens. Hips up, shoulders don't move. You got a strong back, so you push your back to get through it. But you gotta, this is the same thing for me, is I'm here, if I don't do this, like actively, like I'm gonna throw the bar up and back, you know? So, obviously frustrating to not make the second rep there for Mason. I think just too much fatigue accumulated between 2 weeks ago, squat PR, last week, deadlift PR double, and then earlier this week, a hard block pull workout. So it just seemed like his back was fatigued coming out of the hole to not really be able to hold his position well. And what that caused to happen is that, and the wraps will kind of exacerbate this problem. The wraps are only affecting leg strength, not back strength. So the wraps extend them at the knees, and the knees shifted back with the hips going back with it. So the hips rising sooner than the shoulders, and his back kind of getting rounded over. And when it's already fatigued, that's going to happen even more so. So to combat that, obviously, have a more fresh back and a strong back. That's all important. But from a cueing standpoint, we're going to cue the big toe pressure and to keep the knee forward. But in doing that, we also have to actively use the back. So, as Mason's back angle is here, as he hits the hole, what we don't want to happen is this, hips to shift back and the back angle to change. So what we need to do is to actively push with the upper back, and I'll cue to try and throw the bar up and back off of the back. So we're going to actively use the legs and back together, trying to create equal pressure with the upper back into the bar as with the feet through the floor. So that's what we're really looking for on these back down sets. Top sets is a hard time to make technical adjustments, a hard time to think about technique, especially when you get to big weights. You got knee wraps on, you're thinking, ouch, ouch, my knees hurt, holy shit, this is heavy. It's hard to think about much technique there. So, warm-up sets is a time to work on it. If the top set exposes a problem, then the back down sets are a good time to address that problem and really focus on whatever technical cue it is that's going to help your issue. Squeeze it in, squeeze it in. Good. Push with that. Back. Sooner, sooner.
Get expert program design, video analysis, and guidance for powerlifting and weightlifting, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced athlete, through Team Juggernaut's online coaching. Click Learn More to sign up.